Providence Television International, the game changer, taking you to the outer limits of television.
Welcome to the program, Issues in the News on Providence Television International. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa. Today, we will be looking at a very, very trendy topic, and that is the tasks before the new Inec chairman. He actually did make a statement some few days ago. Let us see that statement where he was talking about credibility, era of endless court battles over. I won't compromise election integrity, says INEC chairman Amupiton. If you remember very well, this is a topic that we've always discussed on Providence Television International, especially when it comes to the integrity of elections in this country. The chairman, CEO of Providence Television International, at the time in one of such programs, actually had this to say.
After each major election, fingers are pointed at INEC. Fingers are pointed at the judiciary. I mean, in any case, these are very strong institutions who should be totally insulated, totally independent. Because if the election is not free, it's not fair, it's not credible, what do we say of the people that such elections throw up?
Okay.
Yes, and that's the problem we've always had in this country. I look forward to a day, I've often said that, I look forward to a day when the winner of the election, or rather the losers, there are many losers but just one person will win. The winner and the losers will have a handshake across the table. What is more, and the National Assembly is already talking about it, thank God for that, that look, at the end of every election, don't declare a winner until all the litigations are over. I mean, the reason is obvious. If a winner emerges and there are bottlenecks all over the place and you swear him in, chances that he will sit pretty, while the others are running about looking for funds to pay their lawyers and all sort of things. But when all the litigations are over, and you must give a time frame, maybe 3 months, as the case may be, all these litigations will be over, and then you are sure of the person that will be sworn in. But my argument has always been that when are we going to have a credible election, that the contestants will not do battle in the courts? When are we going to have that? It will suit my nerves, for instance, if one of these days we have a major election like the presidential election, and the people are happy. Yes. The electorate, they are happy, the contestants, the combatants, they are happy, and then say we can give kudos to INEC. When was the last time Nigerians rose up in unison to give credits to INEC?
With me in the studio to discuss this very trendy issue is Dr. Emmanuel Igariba. Welcome to the studio.
Well, I want to have a feeling that Professor Amupiton will probably listen to what reviewed one of our programs, because they're on all fours. I mean, his comments are on all fours with what we said, that there must be some level of integrity. But however, let me just do a little thing before we go into the nitty-gritty of that. Today, for instance, is, I mean, we do this regularly. Today is October 29. So we're looking at October 29 in history. And some of these things are very important. Now, in 1964, October 29, in 1964, Tanganyika and Zanzibar renamed the United Republic of Tanzania with Julius Nyerere as first president. That was way back in 1964. So there's a lot of history there. Now, second one, in 1985, for instance, Samuel Doe is announced as the winner of the first multi-party election in Liberia. This is also very significant. I mean, that young man, Samuel Doe, came on board within the framework of a multi-party system. That was the first time in Liberia. But how did he end? This is the message to a lot of African leaders. How did Samuel Doe end? Became a tyrant. He became a bone on the necks of Liberians. And he died in a very terrible way, really. Okay, and his body was dragged along the streets of Monrovia. It was that bad.
Yes.
So Liberians today will tell you never again with somebody like Samuel Doe, right? I mean, you could just easily equate him with somebody like Idi Amin of Uganda. But that was Samuel Doe, the young man who misruled and who became a problem for the Liberians. That was in 1985. Now, we go to October 2020. All right? Or before then, let us go to 1987. We go to 1987, October 29, 1987. This has to do with sports, by the way.
Okay.
America's Thomas Hearns, one of the greatest boxers the world has ever witnessed, became the first boxer to win world titles in 4 different weight classes. Thomas Hearns. Many of us have forgotten him, but there is a point to remember that he stood still, or rather the world stood still for him, way back in 1987 when he recorded that very wonderful feat. Now, on October 29, 2007, Argentina elected its first female president, Cristina Fernandez. A wonderful woman. She did her best for Argentina. That's Messi's Argentina, and Maradona. She also likes sports, by the way. But she became, her name has gone down in history as the first female president of one of the biggest countries in Latin America. We're talking about Argentina. That happened on October 29, this day, way back in 2007. And then we shouldn't forget this. Today in history as well, we are talking about October 29, 2020. And India recorded more than 8 million COVID-19 cases. The second country after the US, with a death toll of about 130,000 victims. So they were just dying as if life didn't mean anything after the US, of course. So we must remember that date. COVID-19 casualties, October 29, 2020, about 130,000 victims lost to that scourge by India. So these are some of the things I thought we should remember for today. So back to you.
All right, we will be delving straight into the issue in the news. Starts before the new Inec chairman. Let me come down to you. Professor Amukwiton has been blowing real hot since his inauguration. Coming from the angle of his being a professor of law, do you think we will see a better Inec under his administration?
Yeah, law has to do a lot. It has a lot to do with it, a lot, because everything we do in this country must be based on the rule of law, by the way. And I think that it's very crucial. It's coming at a time when Nigeria is at the threshold, so to speak. Linguistically, you will think it's a Yoruba man. But by way of ethnicity, is from Kogi State, which is in the north. These are very important parameters. Many people have been saying, oh, President Tinubu has given the position to a Yoruba man. But he's not Yoruba, actually, even though he speaks Yoruba. So there's an issue there.
Yes.
All right? So it's more of the north by geographical reasoning. All right, that's one. Number two, he's succeeding someone who was not really in the hearts of Nigerians. Okay? His immediate predecessor was not in the hearts of many Nigerians. So he has a role to play there. I wish we could. Now, Caleb, please go back to that bit on Professor
Amukwiton, his statement.
Yes. Era of endless court battles over. I won't compromise election integrity. Loaded comments. One, era of endless court battles over. In other words, he does not expect that there will be litigations.
Yes.
And two, I won't compromise election integrity. What does that mean? It means that the election will be seamless. That his own integrity is also at stake. Yes, even though he's talking about compromising election integrity and all of that. In the same vein, he's talking about his own personal integrity. How would Nigerians rate him? How would Nigerians think of him as INEC chairman? How will he write his name on the pages of history of this country? As I said, Nigeria is at the threshold. It's a very crucial election we have in 2027, and a lot of things must interplay. Now, but let me say this, because we are talking about tasks before the new INEC chairman.
Yes.
First of all, he must look at the issue of transparency.
Okay.
This is important. Transparency, we must see through the operations of INEC. Yes, the electoral process must be absolutely transparent. There must be no rough edges. That's what it means. There must be no hiccups. That's one. Number two, the Nigerian people must have absolute trust in the electoral process. Because what you find, and what has happened in the last few years, is that voter turnout has come down considerably. In fact, it has reduced with each election. Yes, even INEC admitted that much. So we must have a situation under him that voter turnout will be higher. And why must it be, and why should it be? Because we are looking for trust in the Nigerian people. They must believe in the electoral process. Because a lot of people, what happens when you have elections, they sit down at home because they believe that their elections or their votes are not going to count. But he is saying that he will not compromise integrity, meaning that results must count appropriately. There must be credibility. Yes, that's number two. Number three, there must be no rigging. That's one. There must be no thuggery. There must be no falsification of results. These are the things that have brought INEC into public odium, for crying out loud. These elements of rigging, thuggery, and all of that, they must be a thing of the past. Otherwise, we'll be going back to, what do they call it now? We must be going back to our vomit, right? All of these things must be eliminated. He has a strong vision, so to speak, even though some people are trying to poo-poo that. But I believe that as a professor, his family name is also at stake. Yes. Number four, or rather number five, vote buying and selling. This is where the politicians must help him to succeed. Because politicians will be the one who will buy votes, they will sell votes and all sort of things. This must stop in order to go back to number one issue, which is transparency. Okay? Now, no to glitches.
Okay.
Yes, no to glitches. The electoral process must be followed, or the electoral law must be followed to the letter. Okay. Gone should be the days when we'll be talking about glitches, which it doesn't make sense. Because these are devices that are primed to succeed and to give us an electoral process that is hitch-free. Right. We saw plenty of that during the last elections, glitches and all sorts of things. In fact, for some people, it was the first time they were hearing the word glitches. Yes. Right? Yes. So that must be done away with. No to militarization. Yes. This is important because in this country, we've tried to militarize everything. Let an election be an election, not a war situation, where you have battalions all over the place. The whole country is locked down. People cannot move freely, or because we have an election that suddenly will just go awry. We shouldn't have that in a country such as this. I mean, if you're talking about smaller countries, what they call banana republics, you can understand, but not Nigeria. Nigeria is the frontline country in Africa, so we must take the lead. I mean, look at what happened in Ghana the other day. Everybody was happy about the transition in Ghana. Yeah. Yes, that brought in the new president. So we must follow that precept. And we must let the whole world know that we can do it. There must be no rough edges. I've said that before. No rough edges whatsoever. No secrecy in the declaration of results. No secrecy. If the results have been well collated, why must you declare results in the middle of the night? Why? Exactly. Yes, when people are asleep. No, it shouldn't add up. But I'm happy that Professor Amukuto has said that, yes, it will not compromise integrity. These are some of the things which I've mentioned now, that will create room for lack of integrity in an electoral process. And I hope he abides by it. The press is going to take him on, by the way. They will take him on this when Anambra is coming. Exactly. Yes, very soon. Yes. And let's use that as a test run for what he's likely to do. What I've always believed in is this. anybody who has done well by way of governance should win. Should easily win. If a governor has not done well, he has no reason to expect victory. If he has not done well, I mean, the people said, I mean, if you go to the street, the people will tell you the governor has done well, he has done this, he has done that. No sentiments. And so these things must reflect in the result of the election. I look forward to a day, as I said earlier on in one of our programs,
yes.
when the combatants who have lost will shake hands with the winner across the table. They could even have lunch together. That's the beauty of democracy. They could have lunch together and say, yes, oh boy, you've done very well. We've learned 1 or 2 things from your strategies. Next time, we're waiting for you. But make sure that you govern well. You know, they throw these little banters here and there. And the guy will tell them, look, don't worry. We'll do the best we can. And I'm sure that some of you will want to join us. You know, those are things that we expect in the electoral process.
Exactly. If I remember in one of our programs, you also mentioned, I think from even the clip that we just showed now, that from time immemorial as regards Nigerian elections, why is it that there's always a problem with Inec? Has it ever been free and fair? And so I will refer to the issue of rigging. Is it a part of the Nigerian electoral process?
It shouldn't be. See, no election can happen. An election that is rigged can happen without the connivance of Inec.
Okay.
That's a fact. Without the connivance of Inec and probably without the connivance of the police.
Okay.
Right? The politicians cannot rig all alone. But INEC must put a stop to that. I mean, if you work hard, I've said this before, if you work hard as a governor or whoever, you should expect victory. It's a natural process. It's just a natural process. But when you have not worked at all and you have not worked hard to deserve victory, why must you angle for victory? It's a contradiction. So INEC must stand on top of his game to be sure that whoever wins will be the one to be declared as a winner. Right. Why must elections go to the courts? I mean, I've always said something like that.
Yes,
why must elections must end at the polling station at the end of every electoral process? That's where election should end, not in the courts. Let us give our judiciary a breathing space, for goodness sake. I mean, we give the judiciary all sorts of names because politicians too will do this, will do that to make sure that the cause of justice is subverted. It is the politicians that are the problems of this country. The politicians. They want to win at all costs, right? And in the process, they do a few things that are contrary to reason. And that's what I think. I like the gentleman, Professor Amokwita. My prayer is that he abides with what he has said. Eventually, he will be a hero.
Okay.
Yes.
What is your take on registration of numerous political parties by INEC?
Well, it's their right. Fundamentally, it's their right. But you will find that the more parties you have, the more you have non-starters. Political parties who are non-starters. You can imagine somebody is on the ballot box, maybe for governorship election, and in the whole state, he wins about, he gets only about 100 votes. What's his business there?
Exactly.
But my position is parties must be based on ideology. And if you find that party A has the same ideology what you have, why don't you join?
Okay.
Rather than fragment.
Okay.
And in any case, this is also very important. When, if you have about, say, 60 or 70 political parties, the ballot paper will be so long that you confuse the voters, the electorate. You confuse them. But if they are short, first of all, it affects the cost implication. You are going to spend less, right? You are going to spend less. If you have just about 10, for instance, the ballot paper will be short, right? That affects the cost of printing and all sorts of things, all right? But I look forward to a day, really, when... and the question I keep asking is, can we ever go back to option A4? Okay. Can we ever go back? Because that has been the most credible we've had in this country. The election that threw up the late MK Abiola, option A4. Yes. You line out. Some people say it is crude. If something is crude and it gives you the best result, what's the problem? Well, that's the argument. I mean, but I'm in support of option A4. But they say they modified it, open secret and all of that. They are also right, come to think of it, because the election process is between you and your conscience. Okay. All right? So in that case, they will be right.
All right.
But the lessons we have learned in this country are so huge that sometimes we want to reflect back on Option A4. However, if we can perfect this open, this open secret ballot system, oh, that's fantastic. You go into a place quietly and you vote according to your conscience. What has happened in the last few years? A voter goes into the box and he brings out his paper. He shows it to the crowd.
Yes.
Oh, this is the party I voted for. He throws it into the box. But meanwhile, the party that he voted for, the party has his representatives there. They will quietly just make some signs to him. Oh, please, just come over and take 1,000 or 2,000 somewhere. It just doesn't make sense. It runs contrary to the principles of the democratic process. All right. Poverty, well, might be in that, and that is the reason why we must not sell votes, must not buy votes. Yes, it's one of the things that have brought us down in the last few years.
Okay, and the Inec chairman has the power to streamline the number of parties. If we come down to something like the US, where you have 2 major parties and the other one, the conservatives, would you advise a 3-party system in Nigeria?
Maybe 4. Maybe 4. I mean, something similar to what we had in the Second Republic. We had the NPN, UPN, NPP, and I think about 5 or something. And you had 5 leaders who were the head of these political parties. So a beautiful arrangement. So we have 5, and they have their different ideologies. But I don't know if parties now still have ideologies, by the way.
Exactly.
I mean, in the Second Republic, we talk about the green revolution of the NPN. You could talk about the 4-point program of the UPN, free education, free this, and all that stuff. So, but there were 5 political parties. I think we can toe that line. That makes things easier for election management.
Okay.
Yes, it makes it easier for Inec. Yes.
Well, this is, I think, outside the realm of Inec as regards ballot box snatching. This has a lot to do with security. Would you be of the opinion that Inec and the security forces are not in tandem?
They should be in tandem. They should be in tandem. In fact, I should even suggest that members of the police high command should be members of the management process, election management process, so that they would know what is going on, what the plans are to make the election hitch-free. I want to see a situation where the police will just do its work. Yes, because time was when some police personnel were complaining about not being paid allowances and things like that. That was not good enough. Okay, they complained openly, bitterly, that they were not paid their allowances. And these are the same people you asked to go and monitor or to man procedures at the police centers. It shouldn't be.
Okay.
In fact, I'll tell you this: the law enforcement agencies should do their work in such a way that they should not intimidate. Yeah, you can do that through intelligence network. They should not intimidate the voters. In other words, don't overcrowd the police centers with security forces. Yeah, because if you do, in a way, indirectly, you are probably, I mean, for instance, if you have soldiers around you, that means you want to militarize.
Okay.
All right.
There's this trend where we have campaigns before the stipulated time. The Pastor Inec chairman tried to do all he could about that. And do you think that Professor Mukwiton would make a change?
He has to. He has to. It's one of the points that should be high up on the banner. Okay? Because right now, as we speak to you, some people have started campaigning.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
They will even have banners, all kinds of banners.
Very true.
Yes. I mean, we've seen it in different states. And the time is not yet given. There's a timetable. When it comes, why are you beating the gun?
Okay.
Why are you beating the gun? I mean, it just doesn't show maturity. Wait for the time. Because the timetable has not even come out anyway. That's the irony of the whole thing. INEC will soon come out with a timetable for the election process. And campaigns, the time to start campaigns is one of them. So you start, and after that you can go haywire. But not now. It even disturbs governance. I mean, for instance, if the governor is talking about an election that is yet to be, what time does he have for governance? Tell me, what time does he have for good governance? Because he's thinking of an election that is not on the table yet. Right. So it's a pity that we do all sort of things in this country. But I hope that Professor Mukwiton will stay glued to his vision. I see him from a little perspective. I see him as a man who will want to leave his name on the right page of history.
On the right page of history. Coming to glitches, this has become quite a problem. You go to the polling units and the machines are not working. And so how could this be addressed if you were to give Amupiton some advice?
They have a period to do test runs.
Okay.
Test runs on those devices. Yes, so, why should there be glitches? It just... let me not say I was hearing the word glitches for the first time, even as enlightened as I am. But, it doesn't add any value to the electoral process. It doesn't at all. Because, you see, once you have glitches, then they've lost confidence.
Exactly.
Automatically, they've lost trust in the process. And it shouldn't be. And, in any case, the electoral law is very, very specific on this. These things must be uploaded into the system, right from the polling center. Right from the polling booth, as a matter of fact. And the people, they see it. What? Look, in the United States, why is it that, oh my goodness, I pray that we should be able to get there. Yes. Where on an election day, for instance, these things are just shown on television. Yes. They come in and the presenters, the analysts in the television station will tell you, oh, this guy is going to win. This guy, and it comes true. Because they have analyzed it properly in such a way that there can be no error. It must be error-free. That's what science is all about, error-free. Yeah, but here, when they want to do certain things, they talk about glitches. When they have carried to the educational system, you remember? Yes, the educational system, you cannot upload what the students have done. Then you now tell us the glitches about their results. It's very funny. It's funny. And we shouldn't go along with it. But again, at the same time, there are so many things that Inec, under the leadership of Professor Amupiton, has to look at very, very critically if trust must be rebuilt in Inec.
All right, we've seen the situation where some governors of some states, I don't want to mention names, are already promising a sitting president that he would have the same number of votes. And one way or the other, this affects voter confidence. The election has already been decided even before it began. Does Amupiton have the right, as a professor of law, to sanction such governments?
Of course, yes, he does, because he's the chief executive. And that is why I said somewhere that it must be totally insulated from the workings of the presidency. It must be. It's an independent. Look, the acronym is INEC. What does that mean? Independent National Electoral Commission. And it must be truly independent, even by way of funding.
Okay.
Yes, special funds must be made available. The chairman of INEC shouldn't be going cap in hand to the presidency to ask for funds. There must be funds available by approval from the National Assembly. That's it. But the issue you raised is very important. A state will have about, let's say, 500,000 registered voters, or maybe 1 million registered voters. At the end of the day, or accredited voters.
Accredited voters, yes.
Good. At the end of the day, 400 will vote. How do you juxtapose that you want XYZ number in a state where you have only about 400,000 voters? So, it's odd. It's odd, and that oddity cannot be swept under the carpet. So, but I think that the chairman has a duty, if he really wants to work, and working must start now. I mentioned Anambra the other day. Anambra is happening in a little while. That is a litmus test for the INEC chairman. He must do it in such a way that people will rebuild their confidence in INEC. Because you see, INEC must throw up people who truly deserve to win. It must. The electoral process must throw up people who truly deserve to win elections. That's the duty of INEC. For crying out loud. And elections are so important that they determine. They are what you call defining moments.
Okay.
Yes, they define moments for greatness of any particular country, because leadership is involved. The future of any country is involved in the electoral process. You know that.
Yes.
So that's where we are. I won't say we are at the crossroads. I could have been tempted to say that, but we are not. Because, there are things to do coming from the new INEC chairman. Let us believe in him And let us believe that, yes, he can walk the talk.
All right.
Yeah.
Is Nigeria ripe enough for voters in diaspora to participate in the electoral process?
Why not? Why not?
When we still have glitches?
No. I mean, don't you have? People are on all kinds of platforms. Don't they work? They work. So what's the difference?
Okay.
They vote and you upload. It meant you upload. Nothing should stop these things. And we have a huge number of voters in diaspora, particularly in the US and Europe. A lot. And those people, they are more passionate about the electoral process than we are. I mean, the people who are resident in the country. They are more because they follow the proceedings. So we must give them an opportunity. In fact, if we don't, it means we are shortchanging the whatever. And don't forget that in election, there's something we call the universal adult suffrage.
Yes.
Right. Every opportunity must be given to potential voters, whether they're at home here or they're in the diaspora.
All right.
Yes.
Let us go back to the issue of militarization, because you talked about it as regards the expectations. Can the Inec chairman actually do anything about militarization? Because it has become a norm. For any time there's an election, it's like there's a war coming up.
That is not right. It is not right. That is why people even stay at home, because they don't want to be victims of stray bullets.
Yes.
They stay at home watching television and all that, but that is not right. They ought to go out and perform their civic duties. Once you militarize, chances are that there might be some hiccup somewhere and people will become victims. Right. Although in the last election in Edo State, for instance, I mean, we had a large turnout of soldiers, but they were harmless,
Yes.
kind of. But anything can happen when you militarize. Anything can just happen. For instance, when you snatch boxes, the soldiers will not just be looking at you.
At all.
They will go after you. And in the process, there may be some exchanges and things like that. So, but yes, we hope for the best. This is not a question of praying.
No.
Let us do what is right.
Right.
Yes. Because if you pray and you don't do what is right, where does that lead us to? So we must do what is right. And the law, I'm happy that Professor Amokutan is a lawyer.
Yes.
So he must do what is right as acceptable to law. Yes. We are talking about the rule of law in all of this. Yes. And as a lawyer, he knows what the law says. He shouldn't bend the rules. I mean, if you have a professor who probably read archaeology or something, that's a different ballgame. But this is a professor of law. And the electoral process is a part and parcel of the rule of law. Yes. I'm talking now as somebody, I mean, my legal background and stuff. Yes, but it is a part. And every lawyer will tell you that the electoral process will be up there if, or rather, governance will be up there if the electoral process is right.
All right.
Yes.
Just before we go, I think that statement just cued me into my next question. Great expectations from Amukpiton. But what about the clause? He who pays the piper dictates the tune.
That's why I said in one of our programs that they shouldn't be. Yes, it shouldn't be. As a matter of fact, the chairman should not be an appointee of whoever. It shouldn't be an appointee. The independence of the electoral machine should not be in doubt. And how do you do that? I've made suggestions. Somebody might be watching now, and it will work out one of these days. That look, the Inec chairman must be picked from the whole lot. Maybe about 4 or 5 people who are credible. And we have a lot of credible people in this country. A lot. In this same country, we have people who can stand. We just lost one of them. For instance, Christopher Kolade, a great Nigerian. A great Nigerian. We lost him. Okay? But, yeah, that was the point of finality. So we can't blame anybody for that. But we have people in this country who can hold their own and raise their heads high up. It's a matter of integrity. What do we do? The process should be that you get them, let them go to the crucible. Right. Going through the crucible means you do justice to their profile. You profile them properly. Send them to the National Council of States. And then expose them to a lot of stakeholders in this country. The academia, for instance. Trade union movements. Okay. They will have inputs. The professional bodies, they will have inputs. Yes. And the the result will be that you pick the ones you want to pick and subject them again to the authority of the National Assembly without sentiments. Without sentiments. But what we have found is that, the guy is picked and he goes to the National Assembly and he just takes a bow. They don't profile him. Yes, they don't ask questions, basically. Questions that should be asked. So my position is that in future, we should have an electoral umpire that is totally insulated from the instruments of government. That way we'll be sure that, these guys will do justice to the process.
All right. Well, the new Inec chairman is barely a week old, and so Providence Television International, as a game changer, will keep you updated as to his activities. Before we go, a word from the CEO.
Please, this will be of benefit to all our viewers. The telecoms operators, I don't know what they are up to. Honestly, in this country, to be very honest, you load your card, it runs out so quickly.
Exactly.
It runs out so quickly. A lot of people are complaining now that government should intervene. Yes. The networks are working at low level, very low level.
Yes.
I called somebody the other day. 2 minutes after, I had to repeat the call. I didn't pick. Only for the machine to tell me that my number does not exist.
Yes.
That happened. Why must that happen anyway? Why must that happen? In a country that has over 200 million people. Well, let's talk about over 100 million subscribers. Yes. And we thought we had seen some El Dorado. But right now, we don't even, I don't want to mention them, you don't even know which is best.
You don't even know which is best.
You run from, people are running back and forth. You run from telecom to operator A, you run to B, B becomes what? You come back again to A, you go back to C, and it is just terrible.
I am really very happy. Yes, and that you raise this topic.
Yes.
Nigerians are not happy at all.
They are not.
No, they are not at all.
Even National Assembly members, they are not happy. They know what they are going through themselves. Because you want to put a call through to your wife in Lagos. Those of them who come from Lagos, it cannot go through. You want to call your family, it cannot go through. And you hear all kinds of messages. All kinds of messages. I just told you my example.
Yes.
A number that I called maybe 5 minutes earlier. I called the number again. Say my own number does not exist. What must have gone in between? And to even add to that, the fees or prices are so exorbitant.
They really are.
You load your card through whatever means. Before you blink your eye, the money is gone.
The money is gone. It's worse with data. It's worse with
data.
Yes, it's worse with data.
Yes, it's what I'm happy you say that. It's worse with data. And people use data to do businesses, to do all kinds of things. It's worse with data. And data, some of them will tell you, data is life. Where is life when you cannot take it? It's just so ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm really very happy that you didn't mention the name. Well, on this note, I want to say thank you so much for joining us on the program. Doctor, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to our viewers. You've become our life wire. Without you, we can't be in business. So we thank you, particularly those of you who are in the diaspora. You keep writing in. Yes, we like what you are saying. Maybe one of these days we'll just create a template for us to have, maybe a package really, what they are saying about us. Yes, that would be nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful week ahead.